During the Mustang's second full year of production in 1968, sales unfortunately started to decline, and that's where some regional dealers started to take things into their own hands. Southern California District Sales Manager Lee Gray worked with Lee Iacocca to greenlight a California-only spin-off of a sporty 68 coupe. This one-of-a-kind car was called the GTCS, and it wore a fiberglass deck lid with integrated spoiler, 65 T-bird taillights, fiberglass side scoops, and unique body striping, making for one-of-a-kind Mustang. They only built about 4,000 of these in 1968, and they're extremely hard to come by. So when you find one locally, you gotta be curious.
Yes, we're going to look at a 68 California Special. It was only made for about 5 months, and I don't know if you can see it, but it is right there. So we're gonna go check it out. The current owner, Billy, he's had it for like 25 years, and it's supposed to be in relatively good shape. Childhood dream.
And right now, you're watching with me the first time I laid eyes on this 68 California Special.
That is my dream. I just got a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. I just got a dream. It's what you make it.
These bucket seats are notorious for breaking, so that's why it's in two totally separate pieces, but they're pretty easy to fix. This doesn't really bug me. Brakes don't work, but that's not too hard to fix. It's supposed to have fogs. You can see right here that there's the holes for the fogs. These wheels, these thruster wheels, are also aftermarket. Really cool, the center console, and then this guy up here. Jeez, there's bees and stuff. Ugh. These are super rare options. It came with the deluxe seat belts as well, which we can look at the Marty report. The steering wheel is obviously aftermarket. You'd want to get a larger diameter wood wheel that's kind of racer. And then this ivory interior. So this has all been painted, but you can see that it's actually starting to come through. And one way to tell if the car has been resprayed or what the original color was is by looking at the floorboards and also in here. A lot of times painters won't hit that. You can see here it's an aftermarket hood because that's not green. I mean, it's an honest car. It's just in rough shape. But they only made these things for 5 months or 6 months in 68. They took a lot of different parts out of the part bin. This deck lid is actually fiberglass. These are 64 T-bird taillights, which are pretty cool as well. So again, they just took a ton of different parts out of the part bin and threw this thing together because it was at the end of that series of 67, 68, 69. They went to the new body style. You guys have probably seen a Mach 1. And so this car was trying to revamp sales for the 68 Mustang with a bunch of 64 parts, 67 GT hood, 67 grill. I love days like today. I don't know, I might make an offer.
All right, guys, well, it's loaded up, and we're gonna take it back to the shop and get it up on a lift, see what it looks like. We just stopped for a pit stop, and I cannot get over how awesome this car is. Look at it, the patina on it. I'm never gonna wash it. Trav's gonna be so pumped. So pumped.
I have this music, I have this songs of love.
Oh boy, here's Trav's first look at the car.
I mean, there's a zip tie for a throttle linkage. So at first glance, this thing is really rough. Look at this interior. It looks more like a terrarium than it does the interior of a car. And furthermore, come check this out. I have some major concerns that this thing is gonna be full of rust. So the first step is gonna be throwing a battery in it and seeing if we can even get it to start. If this thing doesn't start, I think we gotta get rid of this car.
So as you can see, Trav was not too pleased about seeing this quality of Mustang. So he said, why don't we get a battery in it and see if the thing will start, because if it doesn't. And after we got the battery installed, we gave it a go.
Fire in the hole! Turning it.
Okay.
Well, that didn't work out too well. Luckily, he had another idea to bring this Cali to life.
So now that I've pulled this off, it's pretty corroded at this connector. So there's a chance that by cleaning it up, we might restore connectivity and this thing could start.
And with something as simple as that, it was time to give it another whirl.
All right, man, give it a shot.
Oh boy. Oh. Oh. Hey, at least the dome light works. Or whatever that, the interior. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah! Loud as
It runs.
it runs. So that was huge. Now that we got the car running, we could tackle a couple other things, which will hopefully add some value to the car. The next step was to get the car cleaned up. And to say this car was filthy is definitely an understatement.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Brad, what do you think?
Dude, this sucks. Like, this is one of the worst things I've ever done. Let's spray those hands.
Holy that was literally one of the grossest things I have ever done. I mean, there was like an ant farm in there, there was a couple of rat skeletons, and this gooey balloon that got clogged in the vacuum cleaner. So now that we quote unquote have a clean Mustang, it's time to put some brakes on her and see if we can make this pony go and stop.
With our interior finally in a halfway habitable condition, it's time to go ahead, replace this master cylinder and booster assembly, and see if we can't make our Mustang stop. An absolute mess. With everything bolted into place, it's time to hook up these brake lines and start bleeding the system.
And after bleeding the system, so at the moment that this car had brakes, it dawned on me that this car had more issues than a magazine. And I just didn't have the time, money, or space to give it the attention that it deserves. God, I used that exact same line on an ex-girlfriend. Honestly, I probably bit off a little bit more than I could chew, but no one can take away the fact that I've owned my dream car, a 1968 California Special. I feel so privileged and honored to have owned such an awesome piece of automobile Americana. And something I find so special about all cars, new and old, is that they all tell a story. And that is what's so cool about owning an Ideal car. And that right there is the reason why I started Ideal Cars, so that you could ride shotgun with me on this journey and realize how close you are to owning your next Ideal car. This car here is getting picked up by its new owner today. And yes, I was able to more than double my money on this car, but more importantly, I got to experience it and be part of its history. I mean, I'm no one-trick pony. Part of owning an Ideal car is knowing your margins and your exit strategy before you buy the car. And I always had a plan just in case this car was too big of a project for me to take on at this time, and I still could make some money. But making money, honestly, is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to researching, buying, and getting to experience an Ideal car like this. If you'd like to learn more about the strategies that I use to own and drive Ideal cars and joining the Ideal Car family, either click the link below or visit idealcarsstrategies.com. Oh, and as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.